Hi folks, welcome to SLM Printing. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Forever Rip. I have lots of questions, lots of answers for people, and hopefully this will clear up with those questions and the answers I give to you. Always feel free to give me a like, subscribe, and also feel free to comment below. So with the Forever Rip then, what you need is a dongle. This dongle allows you to use the program. Without one of these, there is just no point being able to use it because you'll have grid lines on all your images, etc. So like normal, stick the USB in, and as you can see, as is preloaded down there. Most of our software is done on GIMP. The reason we use GIMP is that you have a more palette of colour than you do with CMYK. So most people, you're going to be using the laser dark no cut. Apologies with the, I don't have a computer that allows me to be able to do this with the computer. You know, you have like a yellow dot, etc. So this is all being done off my phone. And I don't know where my pointer's gone. Okay, so depending on what you're using, so multi-trans is what you can put on mugs, hard surfaces pretty much. Obviously laser light, which is for white garments, and laser dark for dark garments, common sense is it. No cut, low temperature, which you'll get, which can go down all the way to 120 degrees C. That's, I'm in UK, obviously tell by my accent. So everything's gonna be done in C's today with temps, etc. So double click that. And then what happens is you get this screen here. So you're gonna load your images up through either the DIN, which I'll explain shortly, and your load file. As you can see here, all these of stuff that we've already done. I can see from today's date, the 3rd of May, we've done quite a bit. So pretty much you haven't got to really worry about any of this above. All you're going to do, if you ever want to find your designs, hopefully you will know where your designs is. Now if it's A3, that must be set on A3. If you click on that to load in a A3, but you've got it on A4, which again, apologies with the pointer, I don't have that computer, click down. So for any of my American friends who's on there going, I don't know what A3 is, these are the sizes. I'm guessing for you guys it's your letter and XL, I'm not 100% sure, or tabloid, I think you guys across the pond is what you call it. But A3, so make sure that you've got that clicked before you load the file. So then go ahead, load your file, and then you get this box. So this is what we've done today already. Therefore, like anything, just click on it and just go through it from there. So I'm going to click on this one here. As you can see, it's through GIMP, shows the dimension and the size of the file. Now depending how slow your computer is, or how fast your computer is how long it takes to load up. Ours is pretty slow. So I'm going to click on that and open it up. Now like I said, we've already printed this off already, which I'll show you shortly as you work. Click on that, it loads up in the box. You don't need to change any of this. This stays as it is. As I said, this is the Forever Rip. I don't know any of the other rips. It's the only rip that I know of, so this is the only rip that we need to use. So as you can see on the right hand side, it's loading up. Like I said, depending on how fast or slow your computer is depending on how quickly it's going to load in. Ours is pretty slow, but it does the job, what we need it to do. So then if you look when it comes in, it will appear in there, the brown skin girl. So this is a fresh one, which I'm showing you now. But if you look, this is what we loaded at 11:30. So I'll briefly show you. So we'll click on this and your image will appear. Now with the Forever Rip, you have to have everything in portrait. So I'll show you our, where's my A6 one that I did earlier? A6 there. If I click on that file, obviously I designed it on landscape, and then just before I then saved it into the file, I then saved it in as portrait. So going back to the brown skin girl, once you've messed around with it or used it, it will automatically show a tick, and you can delete these if need be. The other good thing is once you've got a tick on these, you won't need to use the dongle. The dongle is only for new programs. So as you can see, it's A3 size, and that's what we're going to fire up. So double click that, and then double click that. As you can see, it starts to load up again. Apologies with the handshakes, etc. folks. As I said, I don't have a laptop that allows me to, look, it hasn't even got a webcam, that's how old our laptop is. But it does our job, it has all our programs in. So feel free to ask any questions, commenting below, and anything we can help with, because we get a lot of people asking about the Forever Rip. Hence why I'm doing this video for you folks. We're just like most of you at home, you know, we're not a massive company. However, you know, we love doing all this. So as you see, you'll get it, come on here. Now this is for your source to change, you can brighten all your colours. To be honest, if your design is good, you don't need to touch these. You can, where it says here about remove colour. So I'll change the substrate in a minute. If you don't know what substrate means, and I'm not teaching you to suck eggs, some people don't. You know, I'm all new to the industry back in the day and I didn't know what a platen was, etc. But if you need to change the substrate, it's basically the colour of the garment. So you can come on here, and the reason you do this is to make sure it's in transparency. So I'm going to click on the yellow and watch it change the transparency. Now this this substrate here has no effect when you come to print it off on your machine, which our machine that we're using is an Oki Pro 8432. So all it is, it just lets you know what the design would look like on the garment, i.e. if it's a black top, white top, etc. Now, if this was going on to a dark top, say for the colour, you can actually remove these colours, which you don't really need to anyway, to be honest. All that will do it in step 5, which I'll explain to you. Each of these are in steps. So the very first one that we went into was step 1, then step 2, and then this is step 3. Again, I'm trying to go really slow so people who are watching this can actually have a look around. If you need to, pause the screen, zoom in so you know what's what. I know some people just waffle when they're trying to do the videos, but the reason I'm waffling is so you folk out there can get to see what is what basically. So as I said, this is if you want to change different colours. You don't need to, that's why I'm not going to explain it. Brightness, contrast, you can do all this in your design program and have it ready for then when you come, you won't have to adjust any of this and then just come and print it out. Same, the only time we use this one tolerance, again, don't worry about it, is if you're removing the colour. So if I wanted to remove that colour of her hair, via this sourcing code here, you would then have the same colour hair. So her hair colour would be in this box. And then you have to change the tolerance then. And all the tolerance does is how much do you want to take it out. So imagine you've got a brown pencil, a black pencil, and you're scrubbing it on your paper, and you go hard, light, and then eventually disappears. Basically, that's what the tolerance is. I hope that makes sense. A lead pencil, that's what I was referring to. But again, you don't need to use it. So from there, obviously common sense, we're going to click next, and this is going to be step 4. Again, not teaching you to suck eggs. When I click this, I just set step 4. Right, so if you look how this has appeared already, now this is without me doing anything to it at the minute. So I'm going to press back again. So this is what she looks like. And as I said, this yellow, this substrate has no effect on the design in step 4 or step 5. So when I click next, it will come out like this. So people always ask about this coverage. Now, I've spoken personally to one of the guys who designed this program, a guy called Alfonso from Forever. All you need to have this on is 150, sorry, as you were, is 180, sorry, 180 that is, 180, if it's going on cotton. Now, a lot of our customers buy just the transfers from us, and we get a lot of messages saying, oh yeah, it's going on a hoodie, and I say, what material is it? And they go, oh, it's cotton. And I'm like, are you sure? And when they actually look, most hoodies is a multi-blend. So you could have 50% cotton, 50% polyester. You can have a 70-30, so 70% polyester, 30% cotton. So all depending. So 180 only for anything that is just pure cotton. So when it says 100% cotton, that's what I mean by pure cotton. As I said, it's 180% coverage. I'll explain what it is shortly. Now if you go to 210, that's your polyester. So anything with polyester in, anything that's a multi-blend, you want to do it in 210. Nothing more, nothing less. I had a question the other day about leather products. Now if it's going on leather or denim, 220. That's all it is. But for most of us that just sell sweatshirts, anything polyester or cotton, as I said, 180. Apologies to shake your hand, as I said. 180 cotton, 210 multi-blends or 100% polyester. I can't reiterate that enough. Right, so what is the coverage? So if I put this all the way up to 400 and look at my design now, it takes it out. And basically the coverage is the amount of white that is laid down. Now for everyone that's using the Oki, and I'm assuming the eye colour, if that's the correct way of saying it, the white will go on last. So obviously you have your C, your Y, so basically your cyan, your magenta and your yellow, and that very last toner is white, i.e. that's why it goes on last. Hence why you have it in reverse or mirror image and it's laid last. So as you can see, we've still got all this here. Now you saw the colorations in the design. Again, I held it plenty of times, so I'll just press back. So look at all the colour in there. Now, as I said, the coverage is the amount of white that is actually laid down. So how do we get rid of this white that isn't there on the other picture? So 210 polyester multi-blends, 180 for cotton. You don't need to touch this multi-factor at all. Anyone telling you that you need to touch it, you don't. The best way I can explain what this actually does is, imagine if you had a paintbrush and you painted a line on the floor, regardless of what colour, and you left it to dry. That's factor of 1. After it dries, you then put another line of the same colour over the top of the one that you've done previous. That's factor 2. The same amount of thickness. Now I don't really need to should explain it, but as you can see, 125, 150. So like I said, that's why it's got that star as well. No one needs to touch this whatsoever, because anything that starts going thicker, it will start to crack. So if your heat press is slightly a bit hotter than it's actually saying, then it's going to crack. So leave it on a factor of 1. Underfilling is basically the device in pixels. So if most stuff, you know, whether you're using PNG or, well, most PNGs, as you know, it's done in little squares. So that's all that it's doing, it's just tidying that up. There's nothing really more to chat about that. So straight away, watch what happens. PPT I call it, okay, preserve partial transparency. Remember, this is on the Forever Rip. I don't know about any other rips on any other programs or design programs. Watch what happens when I click that. Notice it takes everything away. And this is why it's vitally important that this is always clicked. So as you can see, this is what it looks like when it's clicked. When I unclick it, it adds this. So basically also, it's down to your transparency. So if your transparency isn't 100% clear, even though you look on your design programs, it's still there in some shape or form. It's what's embedded into the design. Don't think, oh sweet, that removes the background. It doesn't remove the background. It will remove any partial transparency that our naked eye can't see. So in a nutshell, make sure that it is clicked every single time, regardless of what your design is. So you've got spot channel fill up spot 210. So as I said, 180 cotton, 210 polyester multi-blends. Factor of 1, leave that alone and make sure you check this box. That is step 4. And the last step, which is the most important, feel free to play all this back. Obviously print a name. This always makes sure that it's horizontal, i.e. mirror image, because like I said, when the white is getting laid down, the white is the bit that allows us then to put it on dark garments, etc, etc. It's hiding it underneath. Right, so therefore, as you can see, that design that we did was in micro mask. So we've got screening from printer, what that means is there's no rasterization. If you don't know what rasterization is, I'm not going to go over it too much. Click onto one of my other videos and that explains all about rasterization. So use screen from printer, there is no rasterization, it's just basically the way you would print it on white paper. It's a solid image, that's how it's going to come out. Screen is configured, you don't need to worry about that. And this one here, okay, use screen is configured, mask recommended for bright media. Now the guy who, as I said, I spoke to Alfonso from Forever, he's going to change that. That's actually going to say for white media, and then the next one you can see dark media will actually say for black media. That is only for white and black. And what it means is once you press that, any white in your image, it will literally remove it out. And same for the dark media. If you click that setting, anything that is black, it will move out. Not dark, black. As I said, I spoke to Alfonso from Forever, who designed part of this program. Bright means basically white, and dark is basically black. White and black, simple. As I said, if you're unsure, go check one of me, link in the description below. In fact, I'll link the description below of a couple of videos of how to, what rasterization does. And then you've got your micro mask. So as you can see on your micro mask, there's a lot of boxes that either are highlighted or not. Again, I'm not going to overly go over what rasterization is, but I am going to go over what all this means is. So this mask here is basically the lines apart. So if you put your fingers together now, 4 fingers together, and you move the second and the fourth ones, so basically little finger and the middle finger, if you notice that gap there that you've got, that's what that mask is basically. It's the gap between the lines. Lines, Euclidean, basically is a mixture of squares, basically circles and diamond type shapes, and then obviously everything else speaks for itself, round, square, line. But again, everything is designed of actually how big that gap is. So if it was a round circle, it's going to be at 30% enlarged. If that mask is smaller, so if it goes 40, 50, 70, it's smaller. So 10, 20, 30 is big, 40, 50, 60 is small. As again, I spoke to Alfonso, he's actually been on my machine and gone through all this, hence leave it at 30. This is the recommendation from Forever themselves that designed this program. Shadow tolerance, that only changes if you use in the bright or dark media. So if I click on this now, look at the shadow tolerance box in a minute. Sorry, use screen from printer, wrong one. That is now, that will now allow me to check that box. Okay, you don't need to touch that. Leave it on 175. Let me go back to micro mask. Okay, see, it's not, won't let me use it now. Angle, the only time you need to change the angle is if you have a landscape picture, and like say you're using rasterization, you have a landscape picture, you're going to need to turn it to portrait. Then to have the line straight at 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock as you're looking at it, you will need to change that angle. Speaking of that, your lines, that's how you want your lines. You want your lines at 12 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. Again, that is a recommendation from Forever because it says, his words, not mine, it's pleasing to the eye. So as you look at it, your eyes don't get drawn to the lines, your eyes get drawn to the picture, where if they're at a different angle, then your eyes will be drawn to the lines because it's a natural angle, meaning, you know, you don't talk to people with your head on your shoulder to your left or right, you know, you look at people in the eyes, etc. You talk to them straight, so hence the word appeasing. And that's the angle. Highlights you don't need to touch, and shadows you don't need to touch. Leave it at 100 and leave it at 0. Micromask percentage, where are we? There we are. Again, this time is the coloration around it. So if you put a load of circles on a white piece of paper, the space between the circle and the other circle, that is what that percentage is for that. So as I said, the lines, or if you put that in circle, how big the circle is going to be. And then this is how big the circle of the design from circle to circle. So that's a big mask, is a circle itself. Let me use this. So if that was the inner bit of that circle, this bit here, that's what that mask is there. Let me grab this at the top. So the micro mask percentage, where are you there, is this gap in the middle. Okay, is this gap in the middle. So the percentage is this. That makes sense. So the mask is the middle bit here. So 30%, 30%. And then the micro mask percentage is this bit in the middle. But again, go with what you suit. Now, the best way that I tell our clients is about this machine, you know, I'm just like you guys, you know, I'm not an expert. I'm just passing on knowledge and experience, which I've gone from actually, you know, speaking to Oki directly and Forever directly, and our suppliers, who's called Maya UK, they're absolutely phenomenal. Can't highly recommend them enough. You know, all their knowledge and experience is what's passed on to me, and hopefully is passage on to you folk. So therefore, when you print these images off, if you're unsure, set that, where are we? Set that to none, which is then your normal picture of you printing off a piece of paper at work, you know, for your kids' school reports or whatever it may be. Click that to none on plain paper. So then you can see, right, does the mask look good? Does the micro mask percentage look good? And look how you feel it and see it. You know, we made the mistake early on that we used to use, you know, the paper itself, and we'd look and go, oh man, that's totally wrong, it looks really rubbish. So therefore, print it off on a white piece of paper and see how it looks. Now, what you need to do that though, if you're going to do that, go back to step 4 and just turn that off. So then when you have a no spot channel, as it says there, nothing to do for me, it will basically print off on white piece of paper. So no white's getting laid down, so you're saving tone already. And the white piece of paper is going to act as that last bit of toner going under, i.e. because it's on white piece of paper. Just pretty much like the background of this. So that's our design and logo that me and my wife designed. That's what it would look like. So you notice that how bright it is because it's got white underneath it, or hence because of the white background. That's what I'm saying. Print it off on normal plain paper. I think you Americans call it copier paper. So print it off on copier paper, no spot channel. None of this will be affected. It won't add any of this, and it'll just print it off. Let me put that back on. Print it out on copier paper, or for us Brits, normal plain paper, and see how it looks. Hence, you know, does the mask look good? Does the micro mask? As I said, this 1328 is perfect. Again, this is a recommendation from Forever themselves, to the guy that helped design this program. User type 1, again, you shouldn't need to change that at all. Trust me now, you don't need to change it. Right, the next one then is input tray and output tray. Most people saying, you know, I try putting A4 paper in and I have to keep pressing online on my Oki machine. The reason is two reasons. One, you've got it set on multi-purpose tray. Or the other reason is in here you've got paper sat in it. If you've got paper sat in this A4 tray, regardless of what you've got set here, it will ask to be taken from there. So therefore, take paper out. You shouldn't have to use that A4 bit at all. You see many YouTube videos and it's being printed off. Hang on, let me just move these. And it's being printed off through there. You shouldn't need to. Open the back up and just print it out from there. So you're going to put your A3 or your A4 in, and jobs are good, and send it through. So if you're having problems and you have to keep pressing online to get your program going, that's the reason why. Paper. So therefore, automatic tray selection. If it's still giving you grief, give me a shout and I'll see if I can help you out. Offset, you don't really need to change. Y-axis and X-axis, which basically just means X to Y, or X to Y, because when you put it in here on an A3, that's your X to Y, where on your A4, that's your X and Y axis. So if your image is just a bit skew width over to the left or skew width over to the right, that's the one you need to be playing with. Again, you shouldn't really need to play with it anyway. So I'm going to print this off on step 4 for you. No spot chan fill up. Using the micro mask. Oh, would I be able to turn it on, And it says, please wait. So as you can see, you know it's firing away because it's going up and down. It's got it on there, look, multi-purpose tray because the front's open. Remember, automatic tray detection, hence the front's open and it will come out the back. Now, I have been told that people are putting their A4 paper that way. Yeah, because remember, you're having to load it in on portrait. It goes in this way. Okay, so it goes in that way, and what it does, it will lay the image across this way, even though it's on portrait. Hence, if it's a landscape image. So, the slower your machine, the longer it'll take. The faster the machine, the faster it takes. So as I said, open the front up, which is your multi-purpose tray, open the back up, and that's where it will come through. I'm just waiting for that to load up. So I'm just going to recap on this then. So there's your printer, mirror horizontal. So when this comes out in a minute, it will come out horizontal, and because you can't see on the other side. So here it is, it fires itself in, and as you'll see, it'll come out the back. Now remember, I had no spot fill on, so there's no white laid down because the paper itself is laid on there. So as you can see, so the reason I'm showing this is, print this off on white paper first, so one, you're not wasting the good stuff, okay? And 2, you get to check if if the X and Y axis is off, etc., etc. And this is what it looks like when it's printed out. Okay, so this has now been printed correctly for our customer. So when you lay it in, always lay with the shiny way down. So it was laid in that way. So that's the shiny side look. If you're unsure, shine it to the light and you'll be able to shine it. I know I'm teaching you to suck eggs, but if you do it this way, look, it's all dull on the matte side. So as I said, this is how it comes out. This has already been married up as well, so I've got another video for you to watch afterwards as well if you want to know the marrying process. And as you can see, that's it with the adhesive on it. Just one for the marrying, folks. If you look on her hair, there is no white in it. If you see white, he says, I don't know what that is. If you see white in your design, when you're doing the marrying process, that's because the pressure on your heat press is too much. It needs to be on a medium. That's our heat press. We use a clamshell, okay, a Stylus Max X. I don't know if it's Stylus or Stylus, I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's what we use. Anyway, check out the videos in the link description below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this. Please comment and ask it away for any questions. I really hope this help clears you guys up for this. Thanks for watching and stay safe.